Y'all. I just did a whole transmission for the Aquarian full moon, and here we are 45 minutes later, none of it recorded. So I've already pulled, so this will be a much shorter reading than what I did because I've got it all laid out here in front of me. So thank you for being here. If you tried to tune in earlier, thank you for your patience. And some of you may already know I'm not a techie, so as this new streaming software is teaching me, I appreciate your patience. And as most of you know, we've just moved through the Lion's Gate 8-8 on Monday, which is huge energy. I don't know about y'all, but I could really feel it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in so many ways, really in my nervous system, and could feel my heart and my solar plexus, and had some revelations that just like really picked up the patterns quickly. And then Tuesday I woke up and I'm like, wow, I feel dense again, and you feel a little, not discombobulated, but just not as easily centered as I was during that period of time. And we're still in Lionsgate, we're still ascending and receiving all of these energies. So pair that with this full moon in Aquarius that hits the peak on Friday, Saturday. There's a whole nother doorway that opens us into this Aquarian energy, which Aquarius, even though it's known as the water bearer, it is an air sign, which means it's analytical, it's very mind driven, it's also creative. But because it does have the water bearer element, it is somehow relative to the emotions and how the emotions are related to the mind. So maybe the thoughts that we have about our emotions. So I pulled several cards here, and it really took a while for everything to come together. So I'm just going to kind of go through them as they were pulled. Our first card was just relax and release and deal only with what's left in front of you. You do not need to worry about the rest. I so gladly received that. I really appreciate that permission to rest, to not like be so busy, I've got to get this thing done. Maybe you had a realization during the last couple of weeks, or maybe there's some big decisions on the line, and this isn't about not pursuing or embracing or acting in ways that are needing, but this is less of like the generative motion. You know, I'm thinking of like the contrast between you got a business idea and you've got to do 5 other things before you can even get started. It doesn't feel quite like that. It feels more like the action of severing connections. It's simplified. Let's put it that way. It's a simplified action that is more of surrendering than it is exertion. The other 2 cards I pulled from the New Earth deck by Eckhart Tolle. I don't typically use these because they're kind of long and they're more personalized for just like a one-on-one with yourself, but they offer it a little bit broader perspective. Most people are so distracted by their thoughts, so identified with the voices in their heads, they can no longer feel the aliveness within them. To be unable to feel the life that animates the physical body, the very life that you are, the very life that is given to you. This is the greatest deprivation that can happen to you. There is no such thing as my life. I don't have a life. I am life. I and life are one. So these cards, the way that I'm being guided to interpret them is about the allowance of our mind to distract us with identifying markers. And we do this to avoid feeling. We do this to avoid, sometimes it is to avoid to feel the aliveness of life, because sometimes we have to meet some other emotions that have been suppressed in order to feel. And then there are other times where we create all kinds of wonderful distractions, self-destructive tendencies, so that we can feel, but it's not a healthy feeling. This would be something like, self-destructive tendencies, overeating, or, harming your body, maybe doing something out of characteristic in a relationship, which causes them to retaliate. So asking maybe is there somewhere where you are avoiding feeling, you're distracting yourself from feeling, and otherwise engaging in self-destructive habits? The Hunter card came up after this, and the Hunter card, I'm going to have to read it again because this is not one that I get often. Before the dawn of agriculture, we hunted in the forest to feed our kin. The hunter never takes more than what the village needs to survive, often taking only one creature, the good kill. He is a master tracker who knows which path to follow to find success. Rely on your own skills to traverse the thick forest you are in to reach your destination. You need to follow the tracks left by spirit to claim your bounty, which is already prepared and being offered to you. Do not follow the maps drawn by others, as they will not lead you true. Instead, become the map maker. Find your internal compass and use all your senses, including your common sense. Don't settle for roadkill. It could be poison. Be careful that you do not become the prey of your desires and fantasies. Remember to not want more than you need, so you are not guided by unbridled ambition. It is okay to come home empty-handed. And this card, which on both the cards that I'll share in a minute, they're on either side, it becomes a part of the internal guidance system that delivers us to truth. It's the way that we know that we are on the most aligned path. And to check in with what your motivations are. Are you settling for something because your motivation is to not go without? Because there is an underlying fear of not having enough money, not having the comforts of living a certain way. Maybe it's because you think that you won't find love. Nobody's going to want you with X, Y, and Z. Or that you won't be able to find another job, another career. Like, what's motivating you? What's motivating you to settle? Or what's motivating you to overconsume, overattach, gluttonize? The cards sitting on either side of this were the angel cards, and it's about emotional sensitivity and the solar plexus chakra. Well, as we came through the Lion's Gate, these are upgrades that open our heart. And in order to open the heart, we have to clean the solar plexus. Every chakra has a pair and they work in unison. So if we want our heart to be open, to be strong, then we have to work on releasing control in the solar plexus. Controlling others, as well as ways of controlling ourselves that are maybe a little bit more toxic, restrictive, judgmental. The word I hear is constraint, like How are you constraining and confining yourself or your relationships out of a need to control the situation? And that's another one of those places where it's like, well, if I don't control this, then I will have to feel the fear of the unknown. So there are these, just different ways of manipulating. Solar plexus is about aligning our will with divine will. And that's the heart. The heart is the expression of, it's the seat of the soul, but is the expression of the unconditional love, the way that we're supposed to communicate with other people, with the world, to allow the world to communicate with us. So when we start to refine the solar plexus, which is where our emotional center is, this is actually where we have what is called the emotional permanent atom, which is a part of our energetic blueprint that stores the memory of the karmic design that we need for soul lessons per incarnation. So it houses all of the information that comes through the emotional body. And think about it. If you've ever had a sour stomach or sick to your stomach, it's generally triggered by stress, by emotion, and it's because this is how we digest life. You can ask yourself, what's inflaming my life? Where am I like overdoing it? Where am I underdoing it? Where am I undernourished? Where have I not fully processed something? Where am I resentful and therefore I haven't received the nourishment or the nutrients from this particular situation? Where am I not releasing? Where am I not willing to relax and allow myself to let go of the past? So tuning into your emotional intelligence, it's the place that will guide you. Now, sometimes your thoughts about a feeling may not be accurate, but your feelings are always accurate. It's your thoughts about the feelings that can be deceptive. So what followed after that were the cards of denial and regret. Very easy for us to stay in these loops of denial so that we can be in the comfort zone. You can create all kinds of wonderful stories and narratives about why it is the most noble and loyal and best thing for everyone for you to stay in this toxic pattern. These are all just convenient stories to keep you small and from stepping into your power. These are all a part of the ego's construct to stay secure, self-preserve, stay the same. You can't have both. You can't have the ideal relationship that you dream of and hang on to the one that you've compromised for. It doesn't work that way. You have to step out in leaps of faith. It's not, okay, when the universe delivers me this, then I'll do that. That's not how this works. It works by faith. It works by remembering that you are a child of this universe, and the universe is a loving, graceful, and abundant place that wants to serve you and all humanity creation through you. So if you are in one of these situations that's limiting your health, your wellness, your well-being, you have to ask, what would be the most loving thing? And the most loving thing is always what frees all people involved. That is why the whole cheesy saying, if you love it, set it free. This is the way. That is love. Love doesn't bind. Forgive me, my dogs are barking at the UPS man. Love doesn't bind. Love is all accepting. unconditional, come and go as you please. And yet, this also means for toxic situations, I love you too much to allow this manipulative energy to cause suffering in both of our lives anymore. So I'm going to say no. That's also love. Boundaries are love. You become a safer person, and you can give more when you have healthy boundaries. For me, one thing is like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but sometimes I feel like I need to say how I really feel, and it's going to cause conflict, and that feels really unsettling for me. I mean, a lot of people don't like to engage in conflict, much less cause it, but what are you doing to yourself? You're causing an inner conflict, which is going to attract to you more external conflict until you are willing to resolve it, until you are willing to step into your power, because this is not something that is wanted by the small self. This is divine will. Divine will is for all beings everywhere to be free and happy, and for your actions to be a part of that. In Sanskrit, it's Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let all beings everywhere be free and happy, and my thoughts and actions assist in bringing that freedom. You have to remember, if you're in one of these cycles in some kind of, I keep going to relationship. Like when I recorded the original video, it was very much like relationship driven, but everything is relationship, right? Like internal relationship with the divine, relationship with human beings, with nature, with job, with money, everything is relationship. So you decide where you've come to a state of completion in relationship. The full moon is about appreciating what has been, what was. It is in the gratitude, the appreciation, that you start to do this absorption process. It's just like the digestive system. We have to absorb all of the goodness, all of the nutrients, and then we can release what no longer serves us. Some situations aren't meant to serve us as a whole. It's just to give us pieces, little life lessons that we retrieve from these soul contracts with other people or circumstances, jobs, our relationship with money, our relationship with sex, intimacy. It's so that we can retrieve parts of ourselves. You can choose to stay, but you bind yourself and others to that suffering, and then it can lead to regret. If you follow your gut, you will never regret it. If you follow higher guidance, you will never regret it. The last card tying all of this together is called the Beauty Way of the Navajo. And it's the reminder of the perfection of the universe and you as the perfected part of nature. It's the wrong book. The abundance and beauty that lives within nature, and how when we return to nature, we can be reminded of that. You are my sacred earth child, and I am your divine earth mother. With unconditional love, I provide all that you want and need so that you may fulfill your sacred destiny. We will always belong to each other. With abundance and generosity, I support you and reveal such divine beauty meant for you that joy and awe shall fill your soul. Relax now It is time for you to be healed. It refers to worry and stress, and here again it says, do not place your faith in worry or stress. There is a beautiful solution available. Allow life to unfold. And as you relax and give yourself permission to rest within the vastness and beauty of nature, you will become receptive to the best way to handle things. Don't try to figure it out by force. Let go and trust that what is needed is coming to you at the perfect time in the perfect way. Your peaceful mind shall readily and accurately perceive all that you need to know. If you know me personally or have followed me for a while, you know that I talk a lot about nature and our part in nature. We are nature, and if you want to improve your intuition, if you're confused about something, if your body's not well, nature provides healing for all. And just going and getting out there without any kind of music or podcasts or things to distract you, let yourself be there and observe and receive without all of the chatter and distraction. You want to be present, fully present in it. So there is an invitation if you are feeling the struggle, and I think a lot of people right now are feeling a struggle that's probably, it's been there for a while, maybe highlighted since right before the eclipses in May. It's coming to a head, and it could take many, many months for all parts of this to resolve and refine and reduce down to that point of light. Okay, like the epiphany of the aha, oh, I see why X, Y, Z, all of these things had to happen in this way for me to receive what my heart has yearned for. I pulled one last card on this, which was about honesty. The medicine for denial is honesty. Brutal honesty with ourselves. Sometimes it's with other people. And knowing that we can't expect other people always to be honest with us. But the truth will set us free. And sometimes that could mean saying the thing that you know is going to cause someone pain initially. And yet that's better than staying in a lie and then regretting it later. There's also so much beauty that we can experience when we are separating ourselves from a relationship that has ran its course. If we really do this from a conscious place and recognize and accept that things are complete, are over, then we can retrieve that part of ourself that has kept us bound, that has kept the other party bound, and we can acknowledge and honor the great gift of that exchange and that relationship. And we can liberate all beings involved. It's not easy. It doesn't mean it's not going to be painful. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenging. In fact, it means that it will be quite challenging because you are doing something new. You are getting uncomfortable. You are facing your fears. You're embracing the path of the unknown. But you will not regret following that instinct. You will not regret following that spiritual impulse. And when that fear comes up and the stories start to writhe around about why what you're doing is wrong or bad and you're inflicting pain on the other person because you spoke your truth, you have to remind that part of yourself that the universe is a loving, benevolent place, and it is going to take care of both people involved. And you just have to keep surrendering to that. Don't settle. Don't compromise. Choose the unknown. Choose the path that you're fearful of. Embrace that. You'll find this deep power within you. And as you do that, your heart will open more and more to feel again, to feel more consistently, and to help others feel. Sometimes the only way that we get to feel love is by feeling the lower end of the spectrum first, because it may be suppressed and standing in the way of the free-flowing current of the unconditional love of the soul. As always, it's such a great pleasure to serve and to share these transmissions. Holding you all with so much love and awe for your courage and your power, and let me know what's there for you now, how things have started to dissolve under this full moon, the patterns that have come into your awareness, and how you're feeling. You know, where are you in the spectrum of contraction and expansion? Contraction is quite uncomfortable because it feels like there's not enough. Like when you have no more air on that exhalation, you get a little frantic thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Okay, that's exactly where you need to be. Because the next thing that happens is that abundant free flow expansion. So keep it in mind when you're in the contraction, when you're in the pain, when all of that gets activated, that the next thing is the opening. This will always be the experience. Is the in and the out, the up and the down, the regenerative and the decomposing. So keep it simple, stay pure. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell if you want to hear more. Pura vida.